Indie games have given us experimental and unique adventures in ways I find that the AAA studios have truly never explored. As a matter of fact, nowadays I actually think there's way more to find in the indie market regarding memorable and strong experiences. Instead of only focusing on making games look and play better, small developers often break the rules in search of completely new and distinctive works of art. Asciicker is a work in progress by Gumix, a lone developer from Poland, started in late 2017. It's entirely made out of highlighted text. Commas, dots, brackets and parentheses in different colors make the game visually one of a kind, but the coolest part is the fact that this is a full 3D rendered game. The project is still in a very early alpha stage, but shows a lot of promise. The distinctive style and usage of ASCII alone will surely pull an audience, and the market for top-down RPGs has always been, and will always be, big. Before Asciicker, Gumix made an open source project called ASCII Patrol, a challenging but also surprisingly addictive arcade-style game set on the moon. The name Asciicker is a pun sprung from the 7-bit code language ASCII, or American Standard Code for Information Interchange. To put it very simply, the code represents 128 different English characters in form of numbers. Every letter, symbol, and number on your keyboard has a corresponding number in the ASCII table. This makes it possible to transfer data between computers. First published in 1963, it's been given a somewhat legendary status as of today, and an updated version is still used in a number of different areas. I contacted Gumix for a few questions on this project and its future. The interview was, fittingly, conducted by text, but I will read it out aloud. Make sure to follow him on social media and to support his craft. I think this might become something very special. I would like you to tell us about yourself, your history with playing and crafting video games, and how you got the idea to develop Asciicker. I've loved making games since my early childhood, starting with basic language, slowly extending my knowledge to x86 assembly, Pascal, then C++ and JavaScript, with a short episode with Flash somewhere. Currently I work as a lead developer of a graphics engine for gambling machines, so my profession is not that far from making games like Asciicker, which is my pure fun hobby project. A few years ago, I released an open source game called ASCII Patrol, a clone of Moon Patrol, made in ASCII. I started working on it just for fun, just to answer myself if it would be possible at all. While working on it, I simply fell in love with making text mode games, and as a natural consequence, a new question arose in my head. Would it be possible to make a 3D isometric game in ASCII? To answer this question, a new project was born, the Asciicker. Tell us about your vision and what kind of experience you're aiming for. I think the reason why I stick to ASCII style is simplicity. I also want Asciicker's gameplay to reflect that, so the player will be limited to explore the world, meet and talk to characters, solve puzzles, defeat enemies and develop his or her own abilities. Which kinds of NPCs are you working on? Will there be dialogue and quests to be found? Currently, there is a wolf in the forges. It is a quite interesting NPC, as it will appear as a regular enemy, a village terrorist, but also as the player's friend with the ability to ride on its back. Other than that, I'll have other animals, monsters, and a few people. Of course the player will talk to them in form of dialogue menu, for getting hints on solving puzzles, triggering quest events, and having some storytelling in the background. Tell us about the multiplayer. I'm still unsure if I'll ever let players meet in the regular game, such as matchmaking, PvP, or cooperation. I think I'll just start with making dedicated game maps like market squares and camps, where players could simply chat and trade their loot. Your Twitter shows concepts of an editor, or what might be building elements. Tell us about these aspects and what it entails for the experience as a whole. This isn't a concept anymore, it's my development workhorse. It allows me to model terrain, edit and apply materials, and put a variety of objects all over the game world. In the future, I'll expand it with scripting puzzles and NPCs' behavior. Will players get access to these tools? Will there be a level editor, building, and support for modding? Yes, it will be available, although it is not intended as a tool for players. It is full of hidden keystrokes required to operate. I already did a small experiment by giving it out to a limited audience in hopes someone would be able to create a user guide. Sad but true, experiment failed. You have developed the game entirely in JavaScript and released it as a free browser game. Is there a reason as to why you chose this engine, and on which platforms are you planning to release the finished product? Indeed, my first experiments X1 to X13 with asciicker were written in JavaScript, which was just fine at the beginning. But after performing a number of experiments with rendering and adding more and more stuff to it, code readability and its performance became a bit unsatisfactory. Now WebAssembly is implemented in most major browsers, which gives possibility to compile C++ code into web applications. It was an obvious decision for me to switch from JavaScript to C++ and begin Y series, Y0, Y1, to be continued. At first the game will target desktop and mobile browsers, then Linux and Windows as a native application with an option to run in a terminal. And all that from the exact same codebase. Any idea on when the game might release, and will it receive updates after launch? Not really. Maybe a year, maybe 2, or maybe it's never going to happen. I don't know. Do you intend to work on this on your own, or are you looking to build a team? I'm already cooperating with a music composer who's making an original soundtrack for my tiny game. Maybe I'll also decide to invite a level designer and dialogue writer sometime, but it's too early yet. Is there anything you wish to plug, any shoutouts you want to make, or anything else you'd like to say just in general? I would like to thank all donors and supporters, specifically Blue Drake 42, Kisrati, Polydux, and all the fantastic guys on Reddit, Twitter, and Discord. Thanks. Gumix is an interesting developer and seems to be a nice guy. If you have the money and any interest in this project, there is a donor box page below. I will also link to his social media and Discord if you wish to reach him. Thank you for watching. I hope I'll see you very soon again. Bye!